Hello, dearest viewers. The weather today is perfect. Perfect for reflecting the conflicting melancholy whir that is my mental-emotional state. A stir of ideas, of debate over what my life has become. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't happy with what I'm doing with my time, but I also wouldn't be telling the truth. I'll head outside during the calmest point of this storm and reflect on life. Reflecting as I have been for many sleepless nights, never ending until I pop a few sleep aids. I've learned over the last few months that I am married to more than just my wife. I am married to my job. My job of making YouTube videos. And as any polygamist knows, being married to more than one only breeds complications. That was a weird analogy. But it's true. The two things in this world I love most are my wife and my career. But every relationship, no matter how perfect, will always have its difficulties, just as couples say their relationship is currently going through a rough patch. So too am I with my relationship with my career. My career is more than just writing and editing videos, it's entertainment. I am an entertainer, and as I think about this, I think about the statistic that entertainers, and especially comedians, are often some of the most depressed people out there. And while they make everyone around them laugh, they hardly do themselves. In a position of stardom, they need to keep up their image, and keep those who view them smiling. I think about Robin Williams. On camera and in front of everyone, he always seemed like the happiest man in the world. But he was struggling. Struggling for years. Until he reached that tipping point, and ended his life. I'd be lying if I said this was the first time I've contemplated suicide, but I'd also be lying if I pretended to be doing so now. I've made it through harder times before, but before, they were always external hard times, problems with things outside of my own consciousness. But this time it is entirely internal, and I'm not sure what to do. Being a small e-celeb, or whatever you want to call me, I do feel the pressure of the public, even if the public is just the internet. The pressure to keep up an image of an always positive, happy, yet analytical person that I legitimately think I am. But I am more than that. I have my ups and downs. And while I'm most certainly not as bright and flashy as many other e-celebs, and especially not as much as actual stars, perhaps rather than a star, I am like this traffic light in the distance, not even comparable to the brightness of a shimmering star, but still noticeable even from this far away. I look out at the traffic light and see its green glow, beckoning me on, telling me to go through with my ideas, keep going, endure, and... oh. I'll probably just do what I've always done. Endure. Like this tree hanging on the edge of the cliff. Mostly hanging off even. And even during this storm, it's hanging on. I don't want to just endure though, I want to thrive, to love every bit of life. Because you cannot endure forever. And everyone knows that. I've been spending the last few months working 70+ hours a week, and while together my wife as a preschool teacher and me as a YouTuber have been able to make enough to support ourselves and our hobbies, I wouldn't say we are well off. Especially considering that I have spent many consecutive days doing nothing but sleeping and working. Always. I rely on sleeping pills to get past the constant whir of ideas and self-contemplation going on through my head at night, and I rely on rushes of caffeine throughout the day to keep me focused on working until it's bedtime once again. And that's no way for a man to live, even as a workaholic. But I live in constant fear that if I slow down, I won't be able to carry my own weight financially. So I need to keep working. Someday these 70+ hours a week will pay off. Someday, I won't have to worry. Someday, I won't have to work nearly double that of the average American. Oh yeah, America. I live very close to a large American flag. I can hear its whipping and cracking from the wind from my bedroom. This flag supposedly represents freedom, which got me thinking again, am I really free? And I don't mean politically speaking, I mean Am I giving myself basic freedom? Or am I locking myself up in all this? Am I stuck now overanalyzing video games for the rest of my life? I fear that if I change, everyone will leave me. So I stay here, creatively cooped up in this little subgenre of YouTube videos. Maybe that's why I'm so down. I miss the creative juices flowing in my head, because I don't feel the freedom to be creative without the internet hate machine backlashing at me. I know everyone just says to ignore the haters, and ignoring them too is a form of endurance, but one can only endure for so long. Maybe I just fear change. I give up creative freedom in order to keep familiarity. A lot has changed in my life recently. Just a year ago, I moved out of my parents' house and got married. Just a few months ago, I finally got out of a car that was almost as old as I am and got a new one. In a few weeks, I'll be moving out of my apartment and into a house with 3 roommates. A lot is changing in my life, and I feel like it's all happening at once. And change is always scary. Maybe this is why the storm is affecting my emotions so wildly. I usually love the rain, but this time I feel as though it's more than that. It's making me contemplate everything. Things change. Sometimes all at once, sometimes very quickly. I mean, this vacant lot that I'm standing in right now was once a big church. Until the day, decades ago, it completely burned down to the ground. And maybe that's what I'm afraid of. So much change all at once. It will burn me out. But if I don't change, I'll be burnt out of my career as well. And I fear that most of all. I want to be creative again. I want to do more than just typical Gnoggin. I need to grab life by the boots and take the path less walked. I need something new and original to me. I need to change the things that I make, or I may wind up just leaving this career entirely. I've been planning on doing this change for a few months now, but I hadn't planned on saying anything about it until summer, and so I've been waiting to make an announcement video for until then. But I've shed enough stress-induced tears to know that I don't have time for that. So while not the grand announcement video I was intending to make, this is all I can muster up the strength to do right now. This channel's metamorphosis will be slow at first, but eventually, hopefully, will take off to new heights. I'll be making some real announcement videos soon, and then I will explain everything that I mean in more detail. But in the meantime, I've been needing to vent this for a long while. Change is scary, especially when your livelihood depends on it, and when you are fighting against all odds. But I need to do it, because right now it seems to me my options are fail now, or fail later.
Austin, are you okay?
Please stick with me.